Ivy tends to be an edge guarder, right? Like if we're looking at the main strengths and win conditions of each one, that's how it tends to fall. But a lot of them have, an option or two they can also use for the alternative, right? So like Squirtle is mainly good at ledge trapping, and he's got a lot he can build up there. But he has an edge guard option or two. He's got his water gun. He can go slightly off with like a drop zone aerial or something. So we'll mention both sides of the coin, but it'll definitely fall. Majority of the time we spend on Squirtle and Zard will be ledge trapping, and then with Ivy,
Okay.
it'll be edge guarding.
Oh, okay. So you think Squirtle's better at ledge trapping?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So this actually it brings me to another distinction that we'll talk about. But Squirtle, his main win condition, right? Ideally, is he's gonna win neutral and string you to the side of the stage, right? And hopefully
Yeah.
get you in the corner or the ledge. And then his goal is to kind of keep you there forever. With he's got a lot of really quick hitboxes he can use and sort of tilt and good pressure. And in that pressure, he's forcing you to make a move and choose some action that hopefully will be punishable, like punishable roll or a jump or something. And you want to rack up as much damage as you can when you have people at the ledge, as
Yeah.
Squirtle. Like, that's the deal. And it might take some time. It's kind of hit by hit. He doesn't have huge damage on any specific hit or like ledge trap option, but they're usually pretty safe and quick to the point where he can hold that advantage state for a long time, and he'll rack up a ton of damage.
Oh,
And the
okay.
alternative, right, with Zard, he's not exactly holding ledge traps for a long time,
Yeah.
but you're hoping that they're high enough percent that you can close out a stock with a ledge trap. That's usually the case when it comes to Zard. And Ivy too is hopefully you can use your edge guard to close out a stock, right? Squirtle's the
Yeah.
main damage dealer. The other two kind of their win conditions lie in securing stocks. And with Ivy it comes with edge guarding, and Zard it comes with ledge trapping. A lot of the time, not
Okay.
always, of course.
Yeah.
But. So we can, we lead off with a warm up game real
Okay.
quick.
Here we
But
go.
but yeah, if there's any specific mon you want to talk about or scenario you want to talk about when it comes to this, feel free to let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
But
Yeah.
that's the main bulk of what we'll be going over. Definitely we'll start with the Squirtle ledge trapping, how he can kind of keep people there for a while. We talked about in the advantage state lessons, sort of these long-winded advantage states that hopefully you're holding on to them for a long time and not giving them up too easy. And all of Squirtle's options tend to kind of drag people to the side, right? As we notice.
Yeah,
So he gets a lot of chances to corner pressure, a lot of chances to ledge
yeah, that
trap for
is
sure.
true. Yeah, I kind of was thinking of the device and the advice, and then I think it was the last second. I don't even know how to say it, but one of the turns I went to, I got top 8 again, so that was pretty cool.
Okay, good shit, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. And you got
Well,
some advice you said, or?
oh no, it's just your advice. Yeah,
Oh,
it
my
was
advice. Oh, okay,
it's
okay.
helping him.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm glad. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you're implementing some stuff we talked about.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes people give me advice, but I kind of already know. But
Yeah, that's always my biggest fear. If ever
yeah.
seriously, if I ever tell you something, you're like, I already know this. Let me know.
Oh,
It's really.
okay, yeah. But yours is pretty good. Yeah, I never even heard about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad, man. I'm very glad to hear. And I like you going for that razor leaf vine whip thing off stage. You went for it a couple times. That's a classic. We'll talk
Yeah,
about with
that
the edge
is.
guarding.
Oh, it's satisfying when you land that tipper too.
Definitely. This is the spot where I might look for a ledge trap bizarre. Usually it'll only last maybe one or two ledge interactions. Whereas
Oh
with Squirtle,
shit.
my goal is kind of to keep recreating the same situation, right? Like
Yeah.
even if they get past me around me at the ledge, hopefully I can bait them sort of to do something stupid. Either like maybe they jumped above me, I catch their landing, or I catch them like trying to get back in the center stage from the ledge because they're still sort of in disadvantage. And then I send them right back to ledge and try it again. That's where all the damage
Oh,
comes from.
okay. Do you think Ivy's F smash is like good for the ledge trap?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a usable mix up, right? I'm not a huge fan,
Yeah.
as you can probably imagine, everything I've told you about like safety and not giving up your advantage states and stuff. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's not ideal,
yeah.
but it's definitely, it's something you can totally use. And Ivy doesn't have much in terms of ledge trapping, so a lot of the time, you'll take any kind of mix-up options you can get. And of course, it is a pretty good move. Like overall, Ivy's F smash is pretty. He's pretty gifted with an F
Yeah.
smash that covers a lot of space and sort of it's a little safer because he slingshots back with it,
Oh yeah, that's
So it
true.
has that like hurtbox shift. And you notice how I'm always kind of getting this free damage with my my flamethrower. That's something we'll talk about for sure. I see so many people neglect that, and I just don't. For the life of me, I can't really understand why they wouldn't go for the flamethrower. Like it's kind of just free damage.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
if you're really like missing it or something, then you're just probably positioning it wrong,
Yeah.
or they're doing a really good job to get around it. But that probably means then you're baiting them to do something way more risky. If they're getting around it that consistently. Probably means that there's something else that's punishable there, so then you could punish that instead of going for the flamethrower.
Do you think his
I like these
nair's
short
pretty
hop
good?
aerials. Who, Squirtle? Or
I mean, Zard's.
Zard's? Like,
Yeah.
his nair is very good, yeah.
Yeah.
It actually is turning into a move I use quite a lot, because
Oh yeah.
it's really the only thing that can cover him quickly, like, in that full circle,
Yeah,
It's
watch
sort
a
of like
video where it
Rob's,
said it's like good at to use that ledge sometimes.
Yeah, totally. It's sort of like Rob's in that way, where it starts at the top and kind of comes down, right?
Yeah.
So you might catch that later piece of the hitbox. Like I could totally come down like this and then do it again, and then that's pretty safe,
That was a good fade away too. Damn.
Yeah, you notice how I can do that? It's pretty good. I've been using that move in a lot of different situations.
Yeah.
Not just at ledge, but I realize sort of it's very useful to have an aerial that covers that whole circle around your body rather than just like. Oh, you got me. There, I was trying to read something. Sometimes it's like with ledge trapping, you don't feel too confident about. Oh, I got it.
Oh shit! I wasn't scratching my nose. I meant to side you. But yeah, I get what you mean, because I was playing a Ditto earlier against this other PT, and when I try to catch her landing, sometimes I like stay under them and like see if they're gonna air dodge. But I kind of missed an opportunity. He landed safely. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens, and honestly, you can't be perfect, right? Like it's hardly reactable a lot of the time. So you definitely have to make some guesses and assumptions when you're trying to chase somebody down in the air. And it helps as Zard to have that fast run speed, and also to have just kind of his general fear factor, right? Like people they're probably a little bit more predictable and a little bit more defensive when trying to land against Charizard.
Oh, okay.
Just because, he's got the strongest options out of them, and it's the most intimidating. But at the end of the day, there's sometimes kind of guesses you have to make, 50-50s and whatnot. And I think people are too quick to feel bad about dropping something. Like, oh, I dropped this advantage state. I should have caught that landing. It's, sometimes you can't know for sure. And it's good to cover as much as you can, right? If you can cover 2 out of the 3 options and, they picked the third one that you weren't covering, there's not much you could have done about that. You did a good job covering those 2. Just take the data, say like, okay, this is how they got around that, and next time maybe try something that covers that option and see if they'll do it again.
Yeah, you gotta adapt.
Of course. I think people are way too quick to beat themselves up about missing one specific interaction or dropping one advantage state, And this is I'm letting you know this now because it's so important with ledge trapping. Like I'll say all this stuff about ledge trapping, keep these guys there forever and keep them in the corner at ledge and rack up all this free damage with Squirtle's hitboxes, and at the end of the day, man, like you're gonna drop. I drop them all the time. Sometimes I get somebody at ledge, I'm like, I can't wait to get so much damage, and then they just get up for free, and I miss, and it's it happens. It happens. But it's all data to collect, and it's all you're getting better and practicing. I've had sets sometimes where the beginning of the set, I'm like, I can't ledge trap this guy at all. Like I don't even know what he's gonna do. But towards the end, I start taking high advantage of it, and it's really, really good for me. So never feel too bad about it. And when you don't feel bad, that usually helps you kind of collect that data, right? Like I'm always trying to be very analytical about it and just say like, okay, I'm trying to watch what you do. If I miss it, it's okay because I still saw you do it, and now I have that piece of data for the future. And I like the way you're doing the aerials and then covering yourself with like a tilt, right?
Yeah.
Landing, and then it's much harder for me to deal with. You notice like I'm trying. I can shield the aerials a lot of the time, but then I either have to keep shielding against your tilt, which then is barely punishable, or have to move forward and then the tilt might hit me.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's working really well.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, your tips has been helping. Yeah, I've been trying to implement
I'm saying, man,
it.
that's got to be a big part of it,
yeah,
right? Like if you ask me, that's one of the quickest ways you might have been able to push yourself from like to that top 8 at a local and to better results, because it's something that's so universally applicable with all the time with every character. And I'm tired of people, thinking they have to be so passive, like, oh, I'm gonna land here and then to stand for a second. Like, no, you gotta cover yourself.
Yeah.
I think there's a weird stigma around it. It's like people say they're being mashy. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing online with some people that they were saying I was playing Match-Me. I don't really care. Yeah.
Dude, if somebody tells you that, you're doing the right thing. It shouldn't be easy for them to deal with, brothers.
Yeah, I remember last night I was playing with like these kids like, we don't want to try hard, get out of here. I'm like, oh shit, my bad. So yeah, it's you gotta watch out.
That's
These
the thing,
servers.
right? Yeah. You're getting too good. Everyone's like, oh, I can't even deal with this. They can't autopilot against you anymore. They gotta think.
Oh damn, I guess so. Yeah.
Dude, this is exactly what you want, Ekin. Yeah, I'm using this water gun a lot. This is very tied into ledge trapping and kind of even edge guarding. Sometimes you can secure like a stock off of it or switch to secure a stock off of it.
Yeah.
So whenever I have the water gun charged up, I like to kind of use it. I use it pretty liberally, right? Like I don't really wait. If I get you in a good spot where I know I can hit you with it and I know I can push you back, I'll probably take the chance. Oh, I thought I DI'd that wrong. I was scared. I'll probably take the chance to shoot it, just to get a little bit more separation, right? I might push you a little bit further off stage. I might force you to kind of recover low when you might have been able to jump back on the stage for free. And a lot of time you give yourself enough time to switch. So that can be really, really beneficial when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do use Nair a lot. Now that you mention it, I was thinking about it. I was like, no, I definitely use it a lot at ledge because as you saw, I can use it kind of retreating like that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it covers the most space of
Wait,
Zard's area.
How did you do that retreating?
Like that?
Oh, okay. You just
I'll use it kind of every which way. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'll use it retreating like as soon as I hit A, then I'll hold in that direction I want to go. And then I'll use it like this, like where I do like to get the top hit first. Like, reverse it.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
And then it starts letting you, because if you do reverse it, then you can start throwing in back airs as a mix up with that, which is fantastic, right? Like his back air is obviously anything you can do to mix up with back air is great, because then you'll hit more back airs on conditioning, and that's what the real move you want to land. I'm so scared, bro. You're trying to kill me. Oh my god. Okay. So back to Squirtle, because I'll start with him. We'll just kind of begin by saying with Squirtle, the ledge traps, they're hopefully going to be long-term, keeping them there for a while. And as we said, you're not really getting a lot of damage on each hit individually, but the goal is that they'll rack up and you'll start getting bigger and bigger punishes later on in the advantage state, right? Because if there's one thing about Squirtle, let's say I got you at ledge.
Yeah.
The first time I might be like, okay, I think he'll jump, and I catch your jump with like a lingering hitbox, a nair or a fair or something, right?
Okay.
And then next time I'm like, okay, I think he's going to wait or something, wait on ledge, and then I hit you with like a down tilt because you waited on ledge too long and lost your invincibility.
Oh, okay.
So that's 2 times in a row now, and yeah, I probably got like less than 20 damage off of those 2 hits, right? It's not huge, it's not massive, but what it did is now condition you. I'm pretty sure now, more than anything, after those two interactions, my opponent would want to get into center stage really, really bad. Like they're desperate, right? The longer somebody in disadvantage state and you keep them at the ledge or keep them in the corner, as we talked about with the advantage state lesson, the worse they start to feel, and the more desperate they get in disadvantage, which means their options will become way more risky, right? They're going to choose high risk options that have high reward for them. They're like, what if I roll back into stage, then I'll get stage positioning, and I'm just gonna hope that he'll mess it up because that's people's mentality, right? So after hitting somebody like that once or twice, I might say, I want a bigger punish. I want some more damage. I'm going to stand back, and hopefully he rolls straight into me, or he, let's say, maybe even like neutral get up and then rolls, right? Which is another common thing people do.
Yeah.
Anything like that, I'll wait for him to act first because now I know he's desperate. I think he'll act first. And then I'll, let's say, get like a grab, down throw, up B. That's a big punish, right? That's like 25%. That's way more than my hits would have gotten by just keeping him at bay over here with straight hits,
Okay.
So if there's anything you can trust on, it's that the stray hits will make them desperate and make them want to like get back on the stage, get back into center really, really desperately, which means more risky options. And usually my response to that, because a lot of the time people will say like, okay, I think they're going to do something more risky, but what do I do about that then? Like, how do I punish it? Usually I say, let them come to you, man. You'd be surprised how often you could just kind of stand and maybe at like a roll distance. If we're talking about ledge, right? Stand at sort of a roll distance and just wait for them to do something, right? I told you, sometimes people will neutral get up and then roll. Sometimes people will jump and like hold all the way in, and then you could juggle them. Sometimes they'll even just directly roll from ledge. All these can be covered by you just kind of standing there waiting for them to press their options. And then hopefully you can get a bigger punish than just the stray hits that you were getting to keep them at ledge earlier,
Okay, yeah.
So that's a big part of my mentality.
You think the aerials are like good for covering the jumps?
Yeah, absolutely. So people love to jump against Squirtle. Mostly because he's not too great at juggling and at air pressure, right? Like he gets kind of air camped and platform camped. So I usually cover those first, and maybe you've noticed when we've played, I tend to cover jumps primarily because everything else it's a little bit easier for me to deal with those after. Jumps I can punish directly a lot of the time, like I can hit them for jumping and then send them right back off stage and then get it going again. So I do use the aerials, of course. I mean, you can use down tilt. It has sort of a lingering hitbox. It's not too lingering, but the benefit of this
is that the lingering hitbox.
That's a great question. Actually, with down tilt, I don't know. I don't know. It's long enough, but I will tell you, I don't love to do that to catch jumps. I'll use that to 2-frame if it's like a character that works against.
Yeah.
But I won't really use it to catch jumps. If I think someone's gonna jump, my main options are either the aerials, like we talked about, and usually that might be like a nair or a fair thrown out up here. Because you notice when somebody jumps from ledge, they jump up like that high, right?
Okay.
So, and they can't really control like how high.
Jump up. Is that universal for every character?
Everyone has a slightly different jump height. But notice how you can't control it, right? Like try to tap Y or tap your jump button really lightly. Like you're still gonna go that high.
What?
You know what I mean?
I never thought about that. Yeah.
It's so it's not universal to every character, but each character has their one jump from ledge. Like that. That's it. It's the same height every time. So once you know,
straight up. Oh yeah.
It's not exactly straight up. Like you can drift a little bit, but the drift isn't enough, right? If I throw out an aerial like up here, I probably hit you every time. Like watch, go to ledge, and then. If I threw out like maybe like a better lingering area, like that's just gonna hit you every time, That nair is one of my favorites to use because it lingers for a while, as I'm sure you noticed, like that.
Yeah.
That's for hitting them a little higher up. If you want to hit them a little lower down, I like to use down air, kind of like right here. Oh, sorry, I messed up. Like at this height, Hopefully you can jump right into it like that kind of. It'll scoop them into it, and if you drift it the right way, hopefully it'll send them back off stage for you to continue the ledge trap.
Yeah, I was trying to implement that more, and it helped out.
Yeah. What's nice about this is you can retreat it right back into stage, and then maybe you bait it out like a neutral get up or a get up attack, or even a roll. Like if you roll past me, I'll do this down air, but then I'll cover the roll with like by retreating back and grabbing it or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So options like this you can kind of use and then follow up with something else to cover the grounded options. Like I like to cover a jump primarily, But if they were to do a grounded option, I'm ready for it.
Oh, okay.
I'm ready with a follow up. So I'll do my down air here, and then I'll start F tilting, or I'll do my down air here and down smash, or even I'll do my down air and just walk back to roll distance and wait.
Oh.
So
Okay, then.
those are great for catching jumps directly. And as Squirtle, you don't really want people to get that high above you because then, your air pressure is pretty limited.
Yeah.
So I do like to try to catch jumps directly. I'm sure you've noticed one thing I do is I kind of approach every ledge trap by just going like this, sort of like I'll just drop in with like two aerials. Like I'll do like a landing aerial into like a rising one, right? Usually like a rising nair or a rising down air like that. And then I'll retreat back to roll distance. So those two, like first one or two aerials, sometimes you can even do another one. You can do like this and then retreat back.
Oh,
But just know I like to do those to catch early jumps because most of the time people jump, they do it pretty quickly off of snapping to ledge.
Oh.
And then after that, I'm probably going to opt to go back to roll distance and play a more reactive ledge trapping game to try to catch your option. So I think this is the thing a lot of people are missing, right? People think you kind of just get one or the other, but I like to sort of catch the early jumps. I'll throw out my aerials and my lingering hitboxes to catch those early jumps.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're like out of ledge invincibility, I might, or like not out, but they're getting low and I think they might choose to get up soon. I'll kind of retreat back a little bit and play it from there. And if they get up on the ground, which remember, there's 3 get up options that are on the ground. There's get up neutrally, like neutral get up, get up attack, and then roll. So any of those are stuck on the ground and usually pretty reactable. So I like to kind of keep my positioning at roll distance, whatever, to try to wait for that. And it's pretty reactable to get a punish. Sometimes you have options that can cover all 3 on reaction, which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
So that's a big chunk of my ledge trapping is Squirtle.
Okay. Do you think like doing that in like training mode is at the ledge is good?
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
I think as long as you can accurately imagine like what a roll distance would be. Every character, just like the jump height from ledge, every character has a slightly different roll distance from ledge. I don't know if you've played against maybe Peach or Wii Fit or something. They have really long ones. So sometimes you have to be careful. You have to know how far back characters go. But outside of that, because remember, roll distance is like my usual positioning.
Yeah.
It's usually where I go.
Okay.
But outside of that, yeah, you could totally, as long as you have sort of a visualization of what it would look like and where it would be, then yeah, go into training mode. Make sure you got your you can quickly kind of set up for those ledge traps, right? Because the goal is
the mod, so I think I could set it up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Definitely. You could probably set them to jump from ledge, right? And then cover those.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I just looked it up on Ultimate Frame Data for down tilt. It said active on frames 8 through 13. So
there you go. That's relatively forgiving.
Yeah.
For like a move like that to try to catch jump from ledge. I've seen a lot of people use it to good success. It's just not my favorite.
Yeah, sometimes
I think
use it for Fox's up B.
Yeah, you can 2-frame a lot of recoveries with it. I will say that's when we talk about Squirtle edge guarding really briefly.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it is sort of if it's a character that you can 2-frame consistently. Like a good example might be like Ness. I 2-frame really well just because he's sort of linear in his recovery timing and everything. But Fox and Falcon, they also are good examples. And character that you can reliably 2-frame sort of through the ledge like this. Too? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It might be a little tougher because he's got the Zaire, right? So a lot of the time you can jump back, and you can't really down tilt the Zaire. So if I think he's gonna Zaire, let me show you what I'll do instead, right?
Yeah.
I'll jump out kind of like this. I'll run off and then just do a nair to cover this space. You see how I'm throwing out that lingering hitbox right in like by the ledge. So this is kind of catching people snapping to ledge, like it's like a 2-frame, but you're doing it off stage. And remember, nair lingers for a while, so that's this is probably even more lenient than like a down tilt would be, because nair lingers forever. So, and down tilt too, or down air, sorry, if you want nair and down air, kind of use them the same way, as long as you do it and land back up on stage, right? This is all I'm prioritizing the fact that I'm getting back on stage with it, because if I ended up off stage like this, like if I did this instead, then I'd have to recover, and I might be giving up my advantage state. They might get around me and get back on a stage before I do, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's good to
experiment with stuff like that. This is sort of the bulk of what I would say Squirtle like edge guarding is. You can throw out these aerials close to ledge. I like to go for nair mostly. And you just drift back onto stage with it. That's mostly what it looks like for me. I don't do much else.
Yeah.
What I will say is there are certain recoveries and certain characters. This is way more rare, but certain recoveries where you can use the water gun a little bit more aggressively, right? So instead of just using it from stage like this, that's great because it pushes them back and everything, but it never really kills them, right? Unless you get lucky. But a way that you can sometimes kill people and get early kills is if they have sort of a linear recovery that puts them into free fall. You can jump down like this and shoot it low
Hell yeah.
while they're doing their uppie, and hopefully they'll catch you. So if I hit you off with Squirtle, I might be able to do that, right? Like if it was Squirtle on Squirtle, because his uppie is sort of like that. It's linear, goes straight up in like diagonal, and when you're done, you're in free fall. So this is just something to try. I'll give you, if you want characters that I typically do it against, I do it against the Links a lot, specifically like Young Link and Link. Because if you hit them with it like once, they really don't have much drift left.
Yeah, that's true. I think
I'll do it with
some character. I forgot which one. Shit.
Good, man.
Yeah.
That's it's a great little option,
Yeah.
And it can work against some characters sometimes. It's not super applicable all the time, but there are definitely cases for a lot of different characters, niche cases where you can throw it in. And trust me, people don't expect it. Nobody would expect you to go off stage like that with a water gun and just be like, where, But if they get caught up being in the wrong spot, or even just you catch like their jump and push them way back, it can sometimes net an early kill.
Yeah.
So I'll throw that out against recoveries where I can. Like if I hit a Young Link with like a down smash right here, that would send him at a horrible angle, right?
Yeah.
So then I might say, I'm going to jump off, do my neutral B. That's instead of switching to Ivysaur. Honestly, sometimes I think it's easier to do that. On certain characters, certain recoveries, it's easier to do that than to switch to Ivy for an edge guard.
Yeah.
But it also could just be like, my mentality sometimes is if I miss this, I don't want to be stuck as Ivy. I'd rather have stayed Squirtle.
Yeah,
so it can be nice to have that alternative so I don't have to switch. Because sometimes switching is just a little too committal,
Yeah, I've noticed that because it's kind of time consuming sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I'd rather not switch, basically. There are situations in edge guarding where I'm like, okay, right here I kind of have to because it's obviously like I have a high chance of getting the stock secured or whatever, but
the dare or something.
Yeah. But always be mindful and don't do it unless you feel confident in it, because Squirtle really does have those options. He has these aerials you can throw out on the way, and then he has his water gun like that. And you can even do it maybe like if you did it like this, you could like air dodge back on the stage, so you don't even have to up B back to the ledge, because that's wasting a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's not too important. Yeah.
Do you think like shielding at like I got ledge for like burst options, like to recover back on stages? Is that pretty good?
That's a good question, actually. I'm really glad you asked.
Kind of like for Terry and for like ZSS or Bayonetta.
So what I'll say is I don't recommend shielding in ledge traps unless you are unless you've seen it before, right? Unless you've seen that they're going to be aggressive off ledge, they're willing to throw out a burst option like that. I know exactly what kind of moves you're talking about. Trust me. A Bayo side would be a perfect example.
Yeah, or like K-Roll's up B sometimes gets you right here.
Yeah, if K-Roll's up B is not, that's just like you can shield those a quick little hit and then get back. But a Bayo side B or something off the ledge, like a Bayo side B or a Terry crack shoot, that's a little bit more concerning, right? Because you have to guess if they're going to go for it. You either have to be shielding or you have to be away from it.
Okay.
So what I will say is I don't recommend shielding at first.
Yeah.
I let them do it once or twice so I can see, and I'm like, okay. But I don't love to get hit by it either.
A little.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I'll make them feel safe about it, but I'm also not going to just give up my advantage state.
Yeah, that's
true. What I do typically is retreat back instead of shield up close. So that's my general advice. And trust me, if you've seen it a trillion times, if you see him Bayo just keeps going for that, keeps you in the side B off the ledge. You can go here, shield, and then just back her out of shield after he goes through you, right?
Wait, really? What?
You can. If you can actually, it's even easier with Ivy. If you did like this, then you could just back her, because the backer is pretty big.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
But Squirtle can. Just don't stand too close to the ledge. There's no need. Stand maybe right here, I would do. And then you could hit that back air. On reaction, of course.
Yeah, okay.
But once again, that's not my biggest recommendation. And we've talked about it. I don't love the idea of shielding preemptively because it's just
Yeah.
you're limiting yourself, and
Yeah.
your out of shield options in general aren't going to be as strong and as impactful as what would have been maybe a good whiff punish. So
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of the time
true.
against Bayo, if I think she's going to go for that side beat, I'll try to like bait her out to do it by moving a certain way, maybe like getting close to the ledge or something, to bait her to go to that side B. But then
Oh.
I'll jump over it or I'll retreat back and dodge it, and then I'll get a whiff
Yeah.
punish, which usually is a little better,
Yeah,
right?
one time I punished it with the down air up B with Ivysaur. Damn, that was
Oh, that is
satisfying.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's dude, that's actually perfect if there's a platform right
Yeah,
there. I
yeah,
don't think I've done that, so I'm gonna try
yeah.
that next time.
But what was I
That's
gonna?
awesome.
Yeah, I also tried. I watched like this little the Buzz video, and he said like you play without your shield button, and I did that. And I'm surprised how like well I was doing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I feel like, I get scared to tell when with my students and everything. I get scared to tell them stuff like that because it's
yeah,
drastic, and it can be really really jarring for a lot of people. Shield is
yeah,
absolutely a comfort for
yeah,
the initial gameplay and the low level player. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think those habits sort of stick around as you get better and better. And trust me, once you start playing without shield, use your movement and use your hitboxes to cover yourself, as well as like learn how to position.
hell
It's
yeah,
night and day. It's night and day. You're
yeah,
because then
yeah,
now you're always moving. Like I see there's
yeah.
this one guy in my region, and he plays PT too.
Oh,
And for forever, the biggest difference between us was that he would hit out of shield options all the time. Like he would be sitting there, shield, or he would run up and shield, and maybe he'd get like an out of shield hit, right?
yeah,
And it would be he gets like a back air out of shield or something. Great,
yeah.
it's like damn. But me, I might move around and dodge something and then get a way better hit, like a
Yeah,
landing fair or something, and then get way more damage off of it, right?
yeah,
So we
yeah.
were equally as good at getting the neutral interaction, like wins, the victories in neutral, but
Oh,
I was
okay.
getting such better hits when I got a win that
Damn.
I didn't need to win that often, like
Yeah.
maybe my amount of neutral wins wouldn't be amazing if I was getting 10 damage off of each one, but I'm getting huge punishes. That's what whiff punishing does for you because you're not limiting yourself in what you can do. And don't even get me started with shielding. Also, kind of just the way that people die, they kind of dance around your shield and bait you to do an out of shield option.
Yeah.
That's another whole
Yeah.
thing that I don't like to get started with. I
Yeah.
think shield pressure is a really, really big aspect of this game. And
Yeah.
if you're constantly putting yourself in shield, you're really liable to get pressured
Yeah.
again
Like
and
if you're
again.
get some Steve up tilt or
That's what
something.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You'd much rather have just like dodged it. You definitely don't want to set
Yeah.
up that situation
Yeah.
where you're
Where you get
sitting
caught
there
by
against
the mine
somebody
cart.
mashing
Yeah.
tilts and mashing exactly.
Yeah.
You get it. So yeah, that's not my main recommendation, shield, but it can be valid. Of course, as always, if you're confident that people will throw out a hit, a burst option, that kind of thing, then yes, that's why shield is there, right? For
Yeah.
your quick reaction defense.
Okay.
So that's mostly it with Squirtle. I want to look at the other two as well. Just let me know if there's anything with Squirtle, any other questions you might have, stuff you might be
Um.
thinking about.
Uh, do you know any like Squirtle like um ledge options to get back on stage? Like secrets,
To get
or
off of ledge?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So now we're at ledge. There's not too much. I think out of the three of them, he's the most sort of linear, straightforward at
Oh,
ledge.
okay.
Not a lot of gimmicks, but
Yeah.
I'll give you what I got. So one thing is there's always a wall to use, like on any
Oh
stage, there's a kind of a different
shit.
wall, and you do
Yeah.
have a wall jump, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes you might be able to mix up by doing something like this, like
Oh,
kind
what?
of dodging, or
Yeah.
even like a back air. You see how I can do this? I can do this wall jump back air and then end up back on
Oh
stage.
shit. Yeah, that's pretty fast too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I see you going for it. On this stage, it's especially tricky because this
Yeah.
wall is super, super tiny, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
on other
true.
stages, it's a lot easier. Like on
Ah.
Kalos or something, you can actually cling to the wall. Squirtle has a wall cling as
Oh
well.
yeah, I do that
So
sometimes. Yeah. Wait, when
yeah,
do you
so
think
that's a
it's
great
best to
thing.
use that wall clean? Because I don't know. I just do it to just like kind of
No, to be
like
honest,
stall a little sometimes. I don't
yeah, just
know. Yeah.
mix up the timing and everything. It's
Yeah.
all it really does is add that layer of mix up. It's a gimmick at the
Yeah.
end of the day, but it's still good to utilize. I don't use it every time, but I will
Yeah.
say if I'm on a stage like Kalos or something, I'll probably use it pretty often. I'll do a little wall cling and then come up with a hitbox maybe,
Yeah, or like
and
a
then of course
Sephiroth charging an up B or something. I don't know. I'm not an up B, a neutral B.
a neutral B. Yeah,
Yeah,
that could be a good stall too. If somebody's got one of those timing based ledge traps, then you could
yeah,
totally stall down there.
yeah.
Another thing I like to do is with up B because we know how big the hitbox is, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
you can kind of mess around with that. And I think you do this definitely.
Oh
I mean,
yeah. I do that.
you
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really want to teach you something you already know. You know, I
Yeah.
don't want to sound like a broken record, but yeah, definitely look at all the different ways you can mix that up, right? And one of
Yeah.
the main ways I think I like to do it is just a slight upbeat through the ledge like that, but then I
Oh.
still end up going back to ledge. So I don't go on stage with it really. Like I think some people do it way too high up, and they end up getting hard punished for it.
Ah,
Just
yeah.
do like a beefy up B right here, and then drop back to ledge.
Is that the one where you have to hold down?
Yeah, hold down
Okay.
so you get past the ledge, and then yeah, let go. Go back to neutral stick position so you could snap.
Yeah, I probably have to lab that one out.
Yeah, give it a little
Yeah.
bit of practice, but just
Yeah.
try to get it so the top hit of your waterfall pokes a little bit above the stage like this, and then you snap
Oh.
to ledge.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and outside of that, I mean, it's not too much. I would say look for opportunities. Maybe sometimes what I like to do is go for stuff like this. Like if there's a platform somewhere or something I can sort of retreat to. Well, there I didn't get it, but
Yeah.
if there's something like this, I can kind of like
Oh
get
shit.
get onto it or something.
Yeah.
It's good to flee because Squirtle is not great at landing. So if you can ever
Yeah.
get to a platform or get to something, I would definitely advise that. And just be patient. Be
Yeah.
more defensive. I think
Yeah.
most people tend to be too aggressive off of ledge, and Squirtle really does not have the hitboxes or the priority to afford that. He can't really be offensive or aggressive
Yeah. Yeah.
off of the ledge. So
Yeah. I was reading your notes.
you
It
know,
was a good tip when you said like to try to like make like the situation like better or like it's kind of hard to. I forgot what it said like, but like it's better to try to put yourself in a better situation or something like that and
yeah,
disadvantage.
with
Yeah.
disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were just
Yeah.
talking about like how the worst to the best, you're worst in the air, kind of very
Yeah.
limited. So that's what you don't really want to set that up. If you're trying to get off ledge, you don't want to jump really high up
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
now you have to land again. So I like to kind of go from ledge. Maybe I'll go to here. I'll go to the platform, and
Yeah.
then
There we
hopefully I can
go.
like drop through with an aerial. And now
Yeah.
I'm on the ground, and yeah. So I hope that was good advice, or you sort of
Yeah.
you like that because to
Yeah.
me that's been my best guideline to follow for getting out of disadvantage, or at least minimizing the risk of what I do in disadvantage, because I see far too many people sort of just they kind of force it, right? They force landings, or they use like Squirtle side B to try to get back into center stage, and that stuff is just way more punishable and way more
Yeah.
predictable. So I'm usually pretty passive with it for sure.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, was that all right? There's not too much of Squirtle, unfortunately. I
Yeah.
mean, just
But
do what
I
you can,
like
mix up
that
the options,
that
mix up the
ledge jump
timing.
little trick. Yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, cool. That's honestly that's the most applicable I think out of all these because there are
Yeah.
different platforms on every stage too, so you can get different mix-ups. You know, on Town and
Yeah.
on Kalos, you have those side platforms that are really helpful,
Oh, yeah.
right? Those ones that are super
Oh,
helpful. But
yeah,
even
that
on
one
like
is
a
helpful too. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Even on like a PS2 or a Battlefield, still works well.
Yeah.
That's why FD is the worst, man. FD, you're just gonna be stuck at ledge all game.
Ah, yeah. Man.
Terrible. But yeah, can we move on to Ivysaur? Do you feel good?
Oh, yeah, that is, I guess, all I needed. Or not.
All
It's always
right.
good to improve, but yeah, for now.
Perfect. So just a few things I think maybe you could pick up with Ivysaur that would maybe help your edge guarding game, right? Because as I said, Ivysaur mainly gets his damage and his stocks through edge guarding. He obviously has ledge trapping as every character does, you know. Any character can throw out hitboxes around the corner and at the ledge to sort of
Oh,
put the
yeah.
pressure on, but he's not particularly good at it, right? He doesn't have any great setups or anything. So if you can ever get a edge guard, sorry, if you can ever get an edge guard, then you want it. It's ideal.
Oh, yeah.
So, what I will say is, well, this game's about to end, so I'll kind of wait for this one to end. But just so you know, to build like a foundation, Squirtle's gonna be carrying people to the side and then eventually off stage to the corner, right? Like Like he's hopefully, and even with his ledge trapping, hopefully he's gonna be sending people off stage. And you kind of want to stick out with Squirtle until you've racked up enough percent that you hit them far enough that you can go for an edge guard with Ivysaur, right?
And
You want them to be high enough percent and send them far enough back that the switch was warranted, basically. So it might be like
okay.
I get like a Squirtle down smash in the corner at like 70%. That's when I'm gonna switch to Ivysaur. That's when I'm gonna look for my.
Okay. You said get a
You
down
know.
smash with Squirtle?
That's just that's the perfect
Okay.
best case scenario because of how
Okay.
the angle of down smash, right?
Yeah,
But even sometimes I might get like a smaller hit, like a throw or an aerial or even like just an F tilt. And if it sends them off stage and I'm like, okay, I think it's time to switch to Ivysaur, then I will.
There you go. Okay.
So with Ivy, when they're coming back to stage, and this is really, really important that you do this. So they're coming back to stage. You immediately want to start kind of pressuring their return back to the stage or back to the ledge with both Razor Leafs and even sometimes other like hits. So Razor Leaf is the main way. So if you hit somebody far off, like I threw that way off and I switched to Ivysaur, I'll start throwing Razor Leafs sort of like in their path of landing. You know, imagine they're falling down like that. You need to sort of throw 2 Razor Leafs, hopefully maybe to to force them to air dodge or force them to double jump.
Yeah.
Because then you're burning their resources, right? And when it comes to edge guarding, you're not really. It's not advisable to go for an edge guard until you've burned at least 1 or 2 of their main resources to get back to the stage or to get back to the ledge.
Okay.
Because most people have good enough recovery mix-ups that it's pretty hard to edge guard them flat out.
Okay.
Usually need, and some characters obviously are exceptions, like if it's like Little Mac or something, or like Ganon. Like you could probably edge guard him. you could probably edge guard him when he has everything.
Yeah,
but
true.
some other characters, they're really hard to edge guard at first, but then you make them burn their air dodge or even both their air dodge and their jump by throwing these Razor Leafs. Like they force them to air dodge through it or jump around it.
Yeah.
Then they have way less mix-up, way less recovery potential, and you can maybe edge guard them and secure a stock. So throw out those Razor Leafs in their path of landing to sort of deter them, right? Push them back and make them air dodge, make them jump.
Do you think
Does
the
that kind of
slow
make
one
sense?
is better for this?
I typically use the fast one. I won't lie.
Okay.
Because I think, I think typically the scenarios where I do these, they're far enough back that I kind of need that to get over there really quick.
Oh,
and also,
okay.
It helps to have it going for a while. Like the slow one doesn't actually go that far, as you've probably noticed.
That's
like
true.
it barely goes like, let's see, wait. It barely goes like halfway across FD.
Yeah.
But the fast one goes like way longer. Right? It goes almost 3/4. So
zoning
that difference can be pretty big. So what I'll do maybe is if I'm going off stage a little bit further like this, then maybe I'll do a slow one. But I don't know. I mean, like this. But I don't know. Really, most of the time I end up kind of just throwing them like this and get some of the fast ones. But at the end of the day, it actually does not matter that much as long as it's in their path and it forces them to like air dodge through it or jump over it, right?
Okay.
That's what's really important. Because once they do that, it's your cue to say, okay, they wasted a resource or hopefully more.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to try to knock them off stage further again so I can like secure a stock. Like either like a gimp with something like a nair or a spike with a down air, right? Those are usually the two main edge guards with Ivy. And a spike with a down air can come down here or it can come from the ledge like on stage. And there's actually a pretty big difference between those two. One of them is a lot more applicable, right? This one from stage, you can sort of do it all the time without much risk because you're still staying on stage. You're still, even if you miss it, then you could set up for a ledge trap after. But if you notice that you burned, so this is how we're starting. If you notice that you burned a lot of their resources, then, feel free to drop down there with a nair or to drop down with a down air even, right? If they're really, really obvious.
Shit.
I'm saying, like, be bold. Don't be scared because you should know. And this is what helps me. I've been off stage enough with Ivy that I know exactly how long his tether goes, and I know exactly how much room I have to mess around before I need to return back to the stage, right? And generally, it's better to do more off stage as Ivy than less. Like you want to be putting the pressure on them.
Ooh, yeah.
And you want to be hopefully, threatening early stocks and spikes and that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
because his left
recently I was
clapping is
kind
so
of down
limited.
airing too low, and then I died like that. Yeah, but I meant to
Yeah.
go
So
such a yeah.
so ideally you want to save your jump. And this is really important when it comes to edge guarding.
Yeah.
Instead of using your double jump like this and then going down for a down air, because then that's like putting you in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
You should run off and down air, and now you have your jump, so it's much easier to tether back, right?
Yeah, that is true.
And the same applies to like any kind of edge guard with Ivy. So like if I'm going for like a nair edge guard, right? I might just full hop off stage, drop low and nair where they are, but I still have my double jump so I can use it after my edge guard to return back to stage. Please trust me, a lot of the time you're either going to go far out or maybe you'll miss the edge guard and you need to recover quickly and safely.
Yeah.
So you are going to want to have your double jump. But this applies to any tether character actually. If you're playing, you know, with Ivy it's he has a super flexible tether, so it's the most often here that you want your jump, but any tether character, use all your options first and save your jump until you're just about to use the tether. You basically always want to be like jump tethering to get back to stage rather than just tethering.
Okay.
So I'll show you one way that I do that. I'll get off stage by doing something like this. And now I have my jump tether to recover when I need it, right? So like I'll do a tether cancel, or even like I'll just full hop off stage like this, get my damage, and then I'll jump and tether back. And obviously, you know, I've been off stage so much enough. I know exactly how far I can go, how much I can do. Like I could do one more nair here and then snap back. But if you're not super comfortable with that yet, then a lot of the time,
practice that,
yeah. But like that one you just did was great, right? That could be really, really good pressure against a lot of characters. And just the fact that you're comfortable out there to me means that you could do it anywhere. You could do it if it's a little bit higher up, like here. Or you could do it if it's lower down, like here.
Yeah, that is true.
You're ready, you know. So I actually think that's the main bulk of it. To be honest, making sure you're comfortable off stage with Ivysaur and you have burned their resources enough to that the edge guard shouldn't be too difficult. It shouldn't be like, oh, I have to read them or I have to predict where they're going to go, because they've burned so many resources. Hopefully it's sort of just they're limited to one recovery route and you can take advantage of that one without having to guess. So that's a lot of it with Ivy, really. That's most of my edge guarding. I don't want to, you know, every character is different and everything. I don't want to understate it, but I could never go into detail on just how many different interactions there are, just how many different characters and recoveries you're gonna have to edge guard.
True,
so it's most important, I think, to know what you're capable of off stage with Ivy, right? So which is why I want you to know exactly how deep you can go, exactly how many moves you can throw out, and be good with the tether cancels. You know, that can help a lot. Tether cancels, a lot of time for me, I might do like tether cancel just to turn around like that and give myself a little bit of momentum going that way. Then maybe I can like back air.
What? I never used it to turn around. Damn, that's pretty good. Yeah.
You could even just like, don't even jump, right? If you want to be quick with it, just run off and then tether back. And then, look at that. Right? That's what I'm saying. It gives you actually a little bit of momentum to do it like that. Because jumping is usually a little bit slower. You can do this out of a dash. So I'll dash off stage, then do that. And now
fuck. Yeah, that is cool.
And now it's easy to tether back when I'm ready, because I have my
on the pressure. Damn. Yeah,
dude. So that's what I'm saying. Anything with that. Look, I even sometimes do stuff like this. Like I'll throw out 2 rage release and then snap back.
I don't really use the rage release off stage that much.
Anything you can use. I mean, because you were using earlier, which I really liked, the nair up. Like, what if I hit something like this? You know, you might have to switch after that. But if you do it a certain way, you might not have to switch. Like if I do it like this, even like you know, I mean, even if I did it like this, and then I can hopefully tether back. Just know, after you use your first tether as Ivy, so if you ever do that off-stage up B, which trust me, I actually do a lot, the off-stage up B. But if you ever do it, no, your second tether is much worse. It's really, really a lot. Like watch this, right? I missed one tether. Oh wow, that one hit. Let's say I missed one tether, and now like all of a sudden I'm just dead, right?
What?
Like,
that little bounce he does. Yeah,
you lose the balance, right? Oh my god, you know, dude, you know your stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and preach to the choir. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I forgot it. Yeah, well, not forget, but yeah.
Yeah, the bounce is huge, right? That's exactly what makes his up B a really good recovery move, and also like helps it to combo like that.
Yeah, you lose that.
You won't the first time you do it, you won't be like sinking in the air, but then if you do it
Yeah,
again, you're
yeah.
falling straight down, and now it's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna die, you know?
Oh, do you think it's like good for landing? Because sometimes when I land, I use it to like kind of act like it's a double jump to save it, and then I air dodge kind of.
Yeah, that can actually work. It's sort of a little stall.
Yeah, yeah. I use that
Definitely, no,
sometimes.
definitely.
Yeah.
I like that actually, definitely. But yeah, that's the main bulk of it with Ivy. And to be honest, he's not much of a ledge trapper, right? Everything he does to ledge
Yeah.
trap, I think you kind of got it down. You know, we
Yeah.
talked about the F smash. That's
Oh
a great
yeah.
mix up when you're covering the grounded options. And one thing that's important to know with Ivy, people don't like to jump against him. Like we talked about, people love to jump against Squirtle because they don't feel like they're threatened in the
Oh
air against
yeah.
him. But
Yeah.
Ivy is the exact opposite, right? You could cover those with
Oh
up Bs and up
yeah.
airs
That's
and
true.
everything's
Yeah.
strong. So typically people like to grounded get up against Ivy a lot more, which means you can go for these F smashes pretty leniently sometimes, or even what I like to do a little bit more. If I'm not sure about what they're gonna do, I'll just throw out a razor leaf like this
Okay.
from roll distance. Remember, you're doing everything from roll distance, and that kind of covers the grounded get ups if they roll
There
in, or
we
if they get hit by
go.
this. If they get hit by the sweet spot, you might get a confirm off of it. So that works pretty well, and it's safe.
Yeah.
I'm just not trying to give up my advantage state because at the end of the day, if they get back up on stage, it's all right. I'm just gonna try to corner pressure them with my stuff now. My drop through aerials and my raised leaves and such.
Okay. And for the
So
razor leash for ledge trapping, that one doesn't matter like for fast or slow.
no, I mean you could go slow. Honestly, I feel like
Yeah.
slow would probably be better, but
Okay.
sometimes I do it fast too. So it's
Yeah.
it's really it's not the biggest difference
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
some things are just gonna you don't really know what they're gonna do. I
Yeah.
think
That's
that's
true.
what's important
Yeah.
about the razor leaf. That the reason I do that razor leaf, it's times where I'm not confident in what they're gonna try to get off of ledge, like how they're gonna time and how they're
Yeah.
gonna time their option and what option actually they're gonna choose. So
Yeah.
that's more of just a coverage thing than
Yeah.
a
Collect
prediction.
data. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if I think they start to jump or if I see them jumping, then I'll start to use maybe like you can use the lingering aerials, sort of like these. Ivy's got probably better aerials, honestly, than Squirtle at catching. You can threaten people ledge hanging for a long time. Obviously, you have like down smash and F smash, but you also have down air, which is really scary, right? So people don't usually hang for too long against Ivysaur.
Yeah. That's true.
And lastly, if you think somebody's gonna jump and you just want to call them out, I actually do go for this sometimes because
Oh.
let's say they jump and I hit them, awesome, right? They're probably gonna like
Yeah.
die, you know?
Yeah.
It's really hard to DI that actually because it's so quick. But even if they did like a grounded get up, like a neutral get up or a roll,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that and then I'll react to them getting up and I might down tilt, or I might back up. So
Oh, what?
it actually is
Yeah.
pretty good coverage. You throw out the up B a little bit preemptively, so it might catch that early jump,
Yeah.
and then you wait from there. So it's sort of
Yeah.
similar to the way I do it with Squirtle, where I throw out something early to catch jumps, like an early jump, and
Yeah.
then I look for the punishes on the other
Yeah. I've
stuff.
seen you like edge guard, like, ah, fuck. Like, yeah, like air dodge on stage like that, and then you charge an
Mhm.
F smash to like punish their air dodge.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I need to implement that more.
So I think that's mostly it with Ivy.
Yeah.
He's a lot more like if you got a read, go for it. If you are confident and you think they're gonna do a certain thing from ledge, or you think you can cover a lot with a certain option, then yeah, dude, feel free. Like it's not ledge trapping is way safer because there's not much harm to missing one. Right? It sucks
Yeah.
to drop your advantage state or to let go of what could have been damage, but
Yeah.
there's very little chance of like a reversal during a ledge
Yeah.
trap.
Okay.
Whereas edge guarding, be careful. Make sure you're not
Oh,
you're not
yeah.
putting yourself in a bad spot, being too
Okay.
risky with it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And let's just talk about Zard real quick. We got a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So Zard also a ledge trapper for sure. The only edge guarding you would really ever do with Zard, which I'm sure you probably have in mind, is just kind of like a drop zone nair, right? Everyone loves to do
Yeah.
that. They're like, oh, I can catch this recovery, and honestly, a lot of the time you can, right? Let's say it's a tether recovery or an easy recovery like the Lynx or Fox Falco,
Oh,
Wolf,
yeah.
like something like that. You might be able to drop down and catch them, and that's all fine and good.
Yeah.
That works out well. But outside of that, he's not really much of an edge guarder. There's not much you can do out there. And honestly, I don't recommend it because his ledge trapping is so good. I think a lot of the time I see Charizards go off stage miss an edge guard, and then I'm like, why didn't you just stay on stage and ledge trap? That could have been so much damage or an easy kill, and you just
Yeah.
threw it away. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's my main recommendation. I would really say to ledge trap
Yeah.
primarily with Zard. So
Do you think run off fair is good too?
it can be, but I
Yeah.
like Nair a little more, right? It stays
Okay.
out for longer, and it hits them at sort of a weird angle. Actually, though, fair is not too bad either. I think I
Yeah.
just like Nair because it's a little bit longer. Like I'm never confident enough that I'm gonna hit a fair.
Yeah, yeah, same here,
Oh shoot. but
yeah.
but yeah, if you think you can hit it, don't feel afraid to do it because you do as Zard. Luckily, you can kind of always make it back to stage with your jumps and everything. But
Yeah.
I still definitely recommend prioritize ledge trapping because, as we
Yeah.
said, these ledge traps are really straightforward. I'm not gonna sit here and talk to you about the super basic and I think you
Yeah,
already got
that's
all of it down.
true.
But
Yeah.
use the flamethrower, really, dude. If you want my advice from my experience, I just use it so liberally. I get so much free damage. I don't really
Yeah.
understand why other people don't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I also think it's really good conditioning. So like, if somebody keeps getting hit by flamethrower, they're probably gonna try to get up and jump really quickly, right? Because as
Yeah.
we've seen with the flamethrower, the only true way to avoid it is to like jump above it really quick before it like fully starts up.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you might condition somebody to get back to ledge really quickly and then immediately jump, which means you don't have to go for the flamethrower that time if you hit them off stage. You can then go for something like a back air and then catch their jump and
Oh
kill them at like
shit,
70, right?
yeah.
Or even like a nair or fair. Dude, I don't know how many times I've done this where it's just like it's reconditioning. I hit them with one or two flamethrowers and I'm like, I know he's gonna immediately jump next time he snaps the ledge, and I just throw an aerial. Dude, it's so good.
Do you think
So
dropping down with it is better for catching aerials with Charizard?
do you mean like this? Like a landing back air versus like a
Oh
rising back air?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you could do it either way. The platform,
Okay.
it helps some people time it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, to be honest, I do use the platform quite a bit to do that because
Okay.
if it was like this stage, so yeah, use it like
That's
that for
good to
sure.
know, yeah.
That move is fantastic, obviously, but even just anything you can do to catch the jump from ledge. Even sometimes I'll
Kinda
run
like
off or I'll
Game
jump
Watch
through the platform and
Flip
do a
me.
fair.
Yeah. Well, not as good, but adds the pressure,
Yeah, the same kind of conditioning,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're exactly right. It's not as broken. Unfortunately, it's not as universal, like one size fits all, ledge trapping, but it is the same conditioning where you can expect that they're going to try to get to ledge really quick and jump immediately after they snap to try to avoid a flamethrower. So definitely pay attention to that. And as Zard especially, collect the data, man. It's more important with him than it is for either of the other two. Like,
Okay.
you need to collect that data, ledge trapping with him,
Yeah.
because one correct guess or educated guess, I don't want to call it a guess, that could be the difference maker. And especially because you're always playing him late games, you're always, last stock, high percents. You need to clutch those out. So his data is super important. So that's what I try to do with Zard. And I'm sure you know kind of what you can use to cover everything. I mean, I tend to cover things from a sort of an F tilt distance where like I can F tilt on a neutral getup, but also catch a roll or like even sometimes a jump if I'm lucky.
Oh yeah.
You can use different things to punish or pressure people for hanging at ledge. Like a downward angled F tilt will hit somebody who's hanging at
I
ledge,
need to
right?
practice that one too,
Yeah, I mean, if you use the C stick, it should be relatively consistent, I feel. Just make sure you're in the right space that it'll hit them. You got to make sure you're close enough. It's sometimes a little bit closer than you'd like to be, but you kind of just go for it once or twice and then back up again. That's the idea.
Oh, okay.
So outside of that, because the F tilt is obviously a big part of it, I think as Zard, don't feel afraid to like let them like if you think they're gonna neutral get up or something, let them neutral get up and then just wait for a second and then pull the trigger on your F tilt, or wait for a second and then like do an aerial, because people get really scared against Zard. They might neutral get up and then they might do double defensive options. So they might neutral get up and then roll, or neutral get up and then spot dodge, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you just are really patient and wait like an extra second longer than you normally would with your ledge trapping, you can sometimes get huge punishes. Like
Ooh,
if you think maybe he's gonna neutral get up and then roll in, you could just kind of
yeah.
wait it out, wait for the neutral get up, and then just kind of wait for him to roll in too, and then up smash him or something. You know,
Oh, okay,
it's
yeah.
this is very kind of abstract stuff. It's sort of in the moment. You'll have to realize that. But I'm just my great big advice to you, because I'm sure your brain will work, you know, when it needs to.
Yeah.
But I can tell you mine does, luckily. But
Oh,
all I have to do is tell myself, just wait longer than I normally would if I'm ledge trapping
yeah.
Wizard, right? Just be patient with it. Pull the trigger later than I would with Squirtle or Ivy, and it works pretty
Okay,
well. It works wonders.
okay.
So yeah, that's mostly it, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, and one other thing I'm gonna say about Ivy really quick, just because I don't want to forget this. So when we talked about the downer through the stage, right? You use that kind of against a lot of recoveries when you're not wanting to go off stage. You don't feel like you maybe burnt enough options to like really punish them edge guarding off stage or whatever. So I do this a lot. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the time, it's way safer. You know, if you miss it, you still get to do a ledge trap.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just make sure when you're doing it that you're doing it late enough to get a huge part of the down air off stage. So I see too many people do it on the way up like this, and this is actually really
Ah,
bad because you're not getting like any of the hitbox off stage, right? So the way you're doing
yeah.
it, like you see the difference now. See where the bulb
Man,
is?
yeah.
It's gigantic, right? So that's just a small thing. If you want to use the platform for that, actually, it might help you a little bit too. Like if you want to run off and then do it.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
can tell you straight up, like those will catch people just a little bit because most people are used to spacing around the rising one. So then
Yeah.
if you hit them with that falling one, it's a little bit lower. It goes a little bit lower. They'll just get spiked, bro. It's like into a and
Oh, yeah. And when you
that
try to,
works pretty consistently.
oh, and when you like trying to time it, do you like just short hop up and down to like just get the timing right beforehand?
I mean, yeah, like when I'm offline, I'm pretty. I think I got it pretty much down. But
Nice.
I'll just short hop, do it with the C stick. That works best for me.
Okay, yeah.
Just input that with the C stick, and I don't even really fast fall. Maybe I fast fall at the end after the downer,
Okay.
but I kind of just run it over and over and over again, like you said, just short
Okay.
hop, do it, and that's my practice. I mean, if you want to do it from the platform though, on certain stages, that actually is probably valid. Like it would
Okay.
probably make it easier.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you're really struggling, then you can run off stage and then jump back on and do the downer on the way up, like we did with Squirtle, those
Oh,
aerials.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that can work too, but also that's a little bit more obvious, right? When you go like
Yeah,
that, so
that's
they
true.
might change their angle of
Yeah.
recovery when they see you do that. So that's about it, to be honest.
Oh, okay,
I think
yeah.
I think that's mostly yeah. That was wow. We actually did that in a
Yeah.
record time, bro. Usually I don't cover everything I wanted to, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of good info. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad, man. So if you want to just run, I know it's a little bit past time. If you want to
Yeah.
one game just to close it
Oh
out, I'm
shit.
down.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll get going. I mean,
Nice.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
let me know if you have any questions about the stuff we talked about today. Anything
Okay.
you're wondering.
Yeah. Let's see. Um. Do you know any like more of the get off tricks? Like
Yeah,
the
for
other
sure.
characters? The get off the
Okay, so
ledge tricks?
Ivy and Zard have a little bit better, right? So
Yeah.
they'll go for Ivy obviously
Oh
has a lot of
yeah.
different ways to do that. And you don't even have to snap back. You can hold down the same way you did with Squirtles
Oh.
and do that kind of beefy upbeat to stay like off. So then sometimes I'll do like that into a razor leaf, or I'll do that into fair and then go back on the stage. Or sometimes if I'm more defensive, I'll do it with an air dodge. You know?
Oh shit.
Yeah. And that's the same as if you're off stage with Ivy, a lot of the time you can use a tether cancel and a jump to kind of sneak your way back on aggressively
Oh
or defensively like that, and it's a great mix-up, right?
yeah.
I think people do that stuff way too sparingly because if you think about it, like everyone is really good at punishing neutral get-ups and jumps from ledge. Like that's universal. That stuff every character's got access to. So
Yeah.
all your opponents are going to be really, really familiar with punishing those. But nobody's really used to punishing this kind of tether cancel. I mean, what other character can do it? You know? Like it's like one
Yeah.
in three characters in the game that have true options like that. So really
Yeah.
don't be afraid to use them, and especially at the beginning of games and stuff. I throw them out, and I'll only stop doing them once they've shown that they learned how to punish it or they're ready for it. But I
Okay.
can tell you straight up, man, like even like just like the upbeat through stage, there's genuinely like so many people I still do that against all the time, and it just works. You know, like If I ever think
Yeah.
they might punish me or might go for like a down smash or something, that's when I'll hold down and not snap back to ledge. But if they're too far back, then I'll just snap back to ledge and get up. Then it's easy.
Oh shit! I need to practice that down one. Damn.
Yeah, the tether cancels in general are also just like a big aspect of it because like I might be off stage and I'll tether cancel like this, throw a raise leaf, and
Oh
then snap back.
yeah.
That kind of like deters them, right? You ever see
Yeah.
maybe like Steve sets up like a TNT or something, throw just one razor leaf.
Oh
That'll knock the
yeah.
TNT away and it'll get rid of the pressure plate. Or if you see
Yeah.
like Pac-Man sets up a hydrant, throw a razor leaf and break the hydrant, so you don't have to worry about it
Oh
when you're getting up. Like
yeah.
stuff like that. If there's a setup character, even Snake,
Or like
if he's doing like
hero or
his
something.
mortars.
Yeah.
Yeah, hero too. Anyone you can throw something to get them off whatever setup they're doing,
Yeah.
perfect, you know. And Ivy's really good at that because he has so much like maneuverability off stage like that. So pester them on your way back and make it easier for you to get off ledge. And outside of that, you know, most of it has to do with the Vinos, really. Like any mix-up you can do with tether cancels, Vinos through the stage, and kind of pestering them, messing with their setup and their ledge positioning on the way back. It's perfect. And outside of that, I mean, he really doesn't have too much, you know.
Yeah.
But
the
that's actually a
tether-
lot.
Yeah, I need to practice
That
the tether
alone is the
cancels.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And with Zard, my main go-tos, I like flamethrower, so I do it usually like that. You can do it either way. You can hold in with it. Oh, that was definitely flameless.
So
Don't recommend that one.
Okay,
Don't recommend that one.
okay.
But if you do it like this, a flamethrower, that can be good. But
Oh,
I like doing
shit.
almost the beer reverse way and just make sure you're getting back on the stage like that.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, man. Dude, no one gets that on the first try, right? You've been doing that. Have I told you that?
Uh, I think I've tried to do it like one time, like a couple. I don't even know, but I think I tried doing it one time before.
All right, all right. Well, there you go. I mean, it's really it's a nice mix up and it pushes them back if they're shielding and everything. Another thing I like to do is throw out these little back airs maybe through the stage before I snap to
Oh,
ledge. You know,
shit.
a lot of trust me,
Okay.
a lot of what makes getting off of ledge easier is
Yeah.
doing things before you even get there, like doing things to deter their ledge trap and mess with them before you even snap to the ledge. Because once you've snapped, then you're pretty limited, right? We all kind of know that.
Yeah.
But do the things you can when you're recovering to sort of mess with them first. And obviously, then a lot of them, if you're doing something like that, an opportunity might open up for you to just jump back on the stage, like you know, instead of having to go to ledge, you might just be able to do this and like get back on the stage and avoid the ledge, which is fantastic. So if you can ever do that and you create the space to do that with Ivy, with Risen Leafs, or Zard, backers, whatever, then take your chance and, you know, avoid the ledge completely. But if not, then, you know, just make sure you're mixing up your timings, mixing up your options, and doing some gimmicks like this. Also, Squirtle, one last thing. Sorry, this is huge actually because
Oh.
the water gun, dude. If you're recovering from far away,
Yeah.
get me a little bit of percent and just, you know, just kind of rack it up a little bit. Nice, nice, nice. All right, now like F smash me, just like send me off, right? So if I was coming back like this and I just did a quick water gun to like push you away,
Oh yeah.
that might let me it might let me get back for like totally free, right? And do it one more time.
Yeah.
Like hit me far. Oh, that might kill me.
Oh fuck.
Maybe I should have okay, wait. Let me do it to you. You can do this. So charge up your water. Oh wait. Let me All right, so just shoot it when you're on the way back and watch what happens.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be jumping, right? Look at that, right? So if you ever catch someone jumping or catch them like setting up for something, you might push them so far that you literally create so much space and get out for free. So that's the other last thing I would look for. Is definitely that. It's definitely the water gun. Push them away, man. That helps you get off of ledge and avoid so many ledge trap situations so often. Even if they're going out to edge guard you, that can be fantastic.
Okay.
Same way we use it in neutral. Sometimes, like if I catch somebody jumping, then I might push you to the ledge and then get a ledge trap started or something like that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then I'm like, hey, you know. See there, it's like it's so good.
Oh yeah.
It's really, really easy to do. And I'm telling you, use the water more liberally than you normally do. Because I think everyone has been taught with Squirtle. You charge it up at the beginning of the game, and then you shoot it once, and it probably misses, and then you never get it again. But
Yeah.
when I'm playing, I always recharge it. Like I get it again, and then I'm like, I could use this. You know, it's
Okay.
it's very very useful to get out of situations like that.
Yeah,
So
especially good
definitely,
sorties.
yeah, man. So that's it. That's everything. Is
Yeah.
that helpful? Those like ledge tips.
Yeah, hell yeah, it was.
Perfect. I'm glad that actually took up this whole game. So unfortunately,
Yeah,
I
it's
think we
all
might have
good. It's all
to leave
good.
the gameplay till next time.
Yeah, it's all good. But at least
All
I
right,
got
all
the
right.
advice. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that stuff is super important.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
damn, that was a good
I
one.
didn't get
Yeah.
you. Oh, yours aren't.
Oh shit.
It's scary. Huh. Yes. The landing fair is too
I was just
safe.
thinking of the your side. I was, oh shit. That was good. I never seen.
All
That's
right.
the first time
GG.
I've seen Jam kill.
Yeah, man. I can
Yeah,
agree, definitely.
yeah, but GG's. Yeah,
GG.
yeah. All right, but
And yeah, man, great discussion today. For sure.
yeah,
I'm
hell
actually really glad we
yeah,
covered like everything I normally would have wanted to. So
yeah,
I hope
nice.
it all was helpful.
Yeah. I need to practice. Like, I'll watch over the recording. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds
Practice
good.
everything. Yep. All right, but
All
you
right,
have a
man.
good time. Yep.
You too, bro. I'll
Yeah.
see you in the next one.
Hell yeah. You have a good one.